Hello, everybody. This is a special edition of the Nicholas Snow Show on PromoHomo.TV. I am Nicholas Snow, and this is one of those events that I'm honored to cover, but I wish the event did not exist. So, this is one of perhaps thousands of Transgender Day of Remembrance observances taking place in the world on November 20th. And I'm on the patio at Oscar's restaurant and cabaret in downtown Palm Springs, California. It is just after 5:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here in California. So the Transgender Day of Remembrance is observed annually on November 20th as a day to memorialize those who have been murdered because of transphobia and hate, and draw attention to the continued violence endured by transgender and non-binary individuals. As I mentioned, TDOR observances are happening around the world, and PromoHomo.TV, I'm honored to bring this one to you, organized by QueerWorks, live at Oscars. Explains TDOR founder Gwendolyn Ann Smith, as quoted by glad.org. Transgender Day of Remembrance seeks to highlight the losses we face due to anti-transgender bigotry and violence. I am no stranger to the need to fight for our rights, and the right to simply exist is first and foremost. With so many seeking to erase transgender people, sometimes in the most brutal way possible, it is vitally important that those we lose are remembered and that we continue to fight for justice. So that is what's happening here, the observance, and it's going to be emotional, I'm sure. I'll bring you live speeches. I'll bring you a traditional reading of names of those who have been unfortunately murdered in the last year, and other memorial messages for people that have been historic in terms of creating this day and awareness around the fact that trans lives matter. So before I continue with the show, I just want to thank the people that make my show possible. Um, I want to, first of all, thank you for watching. If you are watching from anywhere, I encourage you to share the broadcast now. And for their support of my show, I want to thank DAP Health locally. I've been a client of DAP for over 10 years, and one of their value statements is, "We welcome all people, period." I also want to give a shout out to John Pascal and Willie Ryan at 849 Restaurant and Lounge, long-term collaborators with me. And I'm a proud media sponsor of the LGBTQ Community Center of the Desert. Find them at thecentercv.org. Their mission is creating vibrant community by helping LGBTQ people along their way. For their support in helping empower our community, I love to spotlight Palm Springs Pride, and there'll be an encore presentation of my broadcast of the 2021 Pride Parade coming up on Thanksgiving Day. Looking forward to that. PromoHomo.TV is amplified across the Twitterverse with the hashtag I Love Gay campaign. Much appreciation goes out to Matt Scalarud and Fabrice Descendo. Locally, I want to thank my media partners, KGay 1065 Palm Springs, and their sister companies, the hashtag I Love Gay Palm Springs podcast and gaydoesaguide.lgbt. One of the ways I fuel my growth is by making merch available. As you can see there, merch is available. I'm wearing it. There's my parade broadcast team there. You can find the merch from a link at PromoHomo.TV or at Amazon. If you happen to be watching on YouTube, there's a subscribe button that appears throughout the show. Hit that. And if you're watching on Facebook, periodically throughout the broadcast, you're going to see a bell pop up. And I encourage you to click on that bell and get the reminder of broadcast there. And you can see that I'm at PromoHomo.TV on the rest of the social media. So coming up, I have one of the key people involved with this particular event, and we're going to meet him in just 1 second, right after this. Nicholas Snow here again. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm here with Jake Rostovsky, who is involved with Queer at Works and very instrumental in creating this event today. Congratulations, Jake. I know that a lot of work went into this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I said at the top of the show, I'm honored to be able to carry an event like this, but I wish I didn't have to.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of bittersweet, right? Where that there's a lot of support around these events, but the fact that these events exist is just, it's heartbreaking. I'm mad that I have to do this.
So for our viewers, we're going to learn a lot more about TDOR as the night goes on, but I'd love for them to know a little bit more about your story, Jake.
Sure, yeah. So my name is Jake. I use he, him, his pronouns. I came out when I was 12, 13 years old as transgender. This was at a time where there really wasn't a lot out there for the community, and I kind of had to pave my own path. The only thing I knew about the community was that we were killed, that we were, ignored, that we didn't have rights. So I was really, really afraid to come out. I was very fortunate that my family supported me and helped me find ways in which I can affirm my gender, but realized that so many people couldn't. And since 13 years old, I've been dedicating my entire life to helping others access much needed services.
You came out as trans at such a young age, and I just can't imagine how challenging that must have been. You have to admit that even though it's tough for LGBTQ youth across the board in those formative years, I think my impression is that it's much more challenging for people coming out trans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to compare, it's apples and oranges, of course, but around trans and gender identity, I think that the world is still not used to the fact that people are not binary, right? That people don't always identify the way in which they're born as. The world is just starting to understand and starting to accept, the LGB plus community. So most of society is just not there yet. And unfortunately, it's the youth. Unfortunately, it's the people coming out now that are receiving the brunt of the hate.
Well, and that's why it's important that all of us do what we can in whatever platform we have to expand consciousness. So tell me, I know you have a lot to do, but before I let you go, tell me a little bit about QueerWorks and the important work that QueerWorks is doing around mental health.
Sure, yeah. So QueerWorks is a nonprofit organization that I started. Our mission is to ameliorate the disparities faced by the LGBTQ community. We do this by way of providing free mental health services and case management to the community in Southern California. Right now, we're actually in Palm Springs, the Coachella Valley. We launched the Trans Power Project, and it's a free mental health and housing navigation program for trans and non-binary people in Riverside County.
And is there anything that you want to add now that might be reinforced later? Is there anything you want to add to our conversation that I haven't touched upon with you personally?
Yeah, I think that for any allies that are watching this, the fact that you're showing up and watching is really important. But I also encourage you to listen. Please just listen tonight. Listen to what we're saying. Listen to the pain that our community faces. And then think about ways in which you can help make the world a safer place for my community.
And finally, tell them about the rundown of tonight's performance. By the way, when there are videos that are being shown to the audience, I have preloaded those videos into the studio. So I'll be able to bring them to you with unless I have technical difficulties, all the videos that are played here, I'll also be bringing to you. But what's the rundown for tonight?
We're going to do an opening, and then we're going to have some keynotes by Cataluna Enrique and Sharon Brown. Then we're going to hear from some community members like Paulina Angel. Then Lisa Middleton, Mayor Pro Tem of Palm Springs, is going to come and kick off our video, in which we're going to honor all the lives that we've lost this year. And then we're going to close out the night with a call to action by Dr. Antonia Dorsey of Borrego Health.
That's fantastic, and I'm just so honored to be here. And I'm going to ask you to do something for me as I let you go. Could you cue up Paulina and also the chairman of your board, the chairwoman of your board? What is her name?
Her name is Andy Caskew.
If you could ask them to hover hereby, I'd
Sure.
like to talk to them.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you.
And coming up next, I want to introduce you all to my fantastic friend. I've known her for a long time. Here's your microphone, Laura.
Oh, I'm
Laura,
back.
Laura Meeks, an amazing trans woman who I've had the honor to know for quite some time. And I know your story, but why don't you tell them a little bit about your story?
All right. Well, one of the things that as I was listening to your last interview, one of the things I think that's really, really important to get across is the fact that the transgender community is a very broad slice of America. And even though there is about 80% binary, there are special people of which we are a portion of that are slightly different. And it's important to understand that where we come from. So I'm going to give you that as kind of my background and my story, because what a lot of people don't understand is I spent a 20-year career in the Air Force. I flew B-52 bombers. I was an officer. I had male privilege. I had all the things that people want. While I was in the military, I learned and became aware that I was transgender. And so I knew when I was 30, I retired when I was 40, then I transitioned when I was 50. I'm still married. I have 3 kids and 2 grandkids.
I have not met Laura's kids, but I know Laura's wife, Annie.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
So part of the reason I say it that way is because it's very important that people understand that we're just regular people. I grew up just like you did. For those boomers out there, I'm just like you. I saw, Andy Mayberry and all the shows that we grew up with, MASH and all that. It just so happens that when I realized that I was transgender, I chose to be my authentic self. And our hope with TDOR is to let people understand that we're just normal people. Don't persecute us. Don't prosecute us. And certainly don't kill us.
Certainly don't kill you. I mean, it's almost like it's a gut punch to hear you have to make that appeal.
It is sad to have to make that appeal, and as a former military officer, it's sad to see that some people just have a hard time understanding that not everybody fits into 2 boxes. And I think if we could, as a human race, get to the understanding that a lot of people fit into the 2 main boxes, but there's a portion of us that don't, and we're okay. You don't have to. We're not scary. I'm a mother. I'm a father. I'm a pilot. I'm a board member. I go out and hang out with you. We go to the spiritual center. So we're just normal people.
One of the things that I have said in the past is that I think that most people don't realize this, that the trans community is really going to give.
We're going to get started at 5:45.
That's 9 minutes until the official program,
so
or 11.
Wrap this.
So I think that the trans community, through the work that they are doing, are creating a world where everybody across all spectrums can let go of their own boxes, whatever they are. And that what we're seeing is the ability for people to identify as they know and declare themselves to be in so many non-restrictive and very freed up ways as the direct result of the envelope that the trans movement is opening. Would you concur?
Yeah, and I think it's very important to understand that it's okay to know. I mean, if you feel like you're in a particular box, a male or female box in the land of gender, that's okay. Just let us be in our box too. We don't have to fear that other piece. And if we can come to some understanding, a peaceful understanding of just let us exist with you, that's a benefit. That's a plus. I'm a big fan of Star Trek, the Star Trek universe, and I feel that difference is a strength, not a weakness.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for dropping by my live broadcast. I appreciate it, and I look forward to being part of this evening.
All right.
And coming up with me now, I'm going to introduce you to have a seat, Andy. So, Andy, tell me again what your last name is.
Casque.
And your pronouns are?
She, her, hers.
Okay, and I've spoken with Jake and Laura about their experiences. I would love to know a little bit of your story.
Mine is a little different from theirs because I came out a lot later in life, and I transitioned from a gay male to a transgendered female. And so I haven't gone through a lot of the life experiences that they went through. But having said that, I still, being part of the community, see what we're going through is very difficult. And I've had a lot of support, but there are a lot of people that just don't understand why I'm doing it and why I feel that way. And so I try to tell them that, my process isn't so you understand. I understand it. You just hopefully will support what I'm doing. So.
And you are the chairwoman of the board of QueerWorks?
Yes, I'm the board president.
So tell me, the board president, so tell me about why that work is important to you.
It's important to me because I've had a very good, successful, fulfilling life. And you get to a point in life where you want to pay it forward or give it back. And I was struggling to find something that I could do that I could actually help my own community. And I never found it until QueerWorks came in front of me. And so being the board president is important to me because I love our mission and what we're trying to accomplish. And I'm determined that we are going to accomplish it. So.
Well, thank you so much for everything you're doing and for stopping by to speak with me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And I hope you have a great evening.
You too.
If you could ask Paulina to join me, that would be wonderful. So many of you who are watching may never have heard. Hey, have a seat, Paulina. May have never heard trans people speaking about their experiences. But viewers of PromoHomo.TV are no Paula, everyone on my network knows Paulina. Paulina, how are you?
I'm doing really good today.
Okay, so I was a bit concerned because my first three trans guests are Caucasian and you are Latina. So, or Latinx. Which do you prefer, Latina or Latinx?
Latina, Hispanic, Yeah.
Okay. I know that you strive to serve diverse and underserved communities, and I certainly in my work want to be as representative as possible. So tell us a little bit about your experience as a trans woman.
It's been quite a roller coaster. It's the thing where for like people of color, there's not really much. For like the longest time, there wasn't much resources for us, and we couldn't really get much. Whereas our, like Caucasian counterparts could, So it's always been like a very strange journey. And luckily for me, I just been able to find my way to navigate through society without much heartache, as it usually would,
Tell me about why an event like this is important to you.
Because we need to show people that, the work is not yet done. People thought that once we had marriage equality in 2015 that, the work is done. We don't, we don't have to do anything. I was like, no, we still have like a lot of hate crimes going on, especially when it comes to crimes against the trans community. It seems like every year the death rates keeps going higher and higher, and we need to make sure that we continue to work towards a future where none of us have to fear for our lives.
That's very well stated. I do want to talk about the community partners that came together for this event. Borrego Health, the Coachella Valley Independent, DAP Health, Jewish Family Services, Michael's House, Oscars of Palm Springs, PromoHomo.TV, KGay 1065 Palm Springs, Gay Desert Guide, Rainbow Youth Pride Alliance, the LGBTQ Community Center of the Desert, and last but not least, the Trans Community Project. If I left anyone out about that, I apologize. So, Paulina, why don't I see if I have any comments coming in from viewers?
Sure.
So I'm going to just go over to comments, and We have Rock watching from Fargo. Russ says awesomeness. Jerome Cleary is tagging a friend of his, and Rock loved Laura, and so do I. So that's fantastic, and so far no technical difficulties. Appreciating that. Let me just look at something else here. Some of the information that we're going to be seeing tonight, it might be painful, it might be triggering, and I just want to remind you out there that there is help, and here's an example of the help that's available. So I think it's important that people in the audience know.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to get started in just about 2 minutes. So thank you so much for being here.
2-minute warning. I think it's so important that people know about the phone number that I'll be displaying several times during the broadcast, because unfortunately and tragically, the rate of suicide is much higher against trans women of color. The violence is horrific as well. Trans women in general are victimized almost more than any other. They are victimized more than any other piece of the LGBTQ plus rainbow.
And I was told this week that in a county in LA County, about 94% of all of the hate crimes towards the LGBTQ community out there, a lot of it is aimed towards trans women of color. There's been more deaths out there, and there continues to be more violence, especially in abroad, like in a lot of European areas as well.
Definitely a global issue. By the way, glad.org has amazing resources for the transgender community and for people that are allies. I'm going to actually turn my camera around. I'd love for you to talk about your organization, why they're listening to you do that. I'm going to transition the camera angle for the official program. I'm going to be losing this bright light, just so you all know, because I won't need it for most of the program. And we're also going to be, go ahead and talk about your organization now that they know what I'm doing. You might have a slight pause in your picture coming up. I just want you to know about that.
Sure. So, Trans Community Project, we're a grassroots organization based here in the Coachella Valley, but we not only serve those out here in the valley, but we also serve many people throughout the world. And we do like a lot of peer support, as well as education, as well as ally training.
All right, everybody.
And let's get started with the program.
Hello.
That was perfect. Thank you.
Everyone. Welcome. Hi. Thank you for being here. I can't see any of you now because of the spotlight. I'm sure you're all wonderful. Bad joke, right? Hi. So my name is Jacob. I just wanted to welcome all of you to the Coachella Valley Transgender Day of Remembrance for 2021. My name is Jacob Rostovsky. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I am the founder of QueerWorks and our project, the Trans Power Project. And I'm so honored to have produced this event tonight along with community collaborators and partners. And so I just once again wanted to thank all of you for being here to honor the lives that we have lost this year. Before we begin our program, I really wanted to extend a special thank you to Oscar's Palm Springs for letting us have this place. Thank you guys. I'll bring them up really cool venue that's opening up soon, but if not, I'll have them come up in a second. But they're a huge supporter of the trans and non-binary community, and when I called them and asked if we could do this here, they didn't even hesitate. So, please come and visit Oscars, because anyone that supports the community, is a friend of ours. I also want to thank our community collaborators and partners. When I say your name, please just raise your hand so we can get an acknowledgement. And if I've forgotten anyone on this list, yell at me and I'll acknowledge you. So first, the Trans Community Project. Then JFS of the Desert. There they are back there. The Center, there they are over there. Trans Latino Coalition, I think they're in LA, but we're sending them virtual thanks or faraway thanks. Gender Affirmation Project, I'm not sure if I saw them. Okay, but thank you. DAP Health, there they are all around. Pigay 106.5, I think, yes, there they are, thank you. And then the Gay Desert Guide, also same person, right? You get two, right? Two is better than none, I always say. Rainbow Pride Youth Alliance. They're here too. Yep, there they are. PromoHomo.TV doing his work over there. Coachella Valley Independent. I saw you all over there. Michael's House. I know I saw you there. Thanks to Michael's House. Safe House of the Desert. I saw you too there. And then finally, last but not least, of course, Borrego Health. There. Did I forget anybody? No? Okay, and thank you all to you for being here too. Yes, who did we thank? Oh yes, AmeriCorps. Thank you so much. They donated our volunteers, and then thank you to our interpreters tonight for donating time as well. So now we're going to jump into a video package. I wanted to introduce virtually two amazing women who will be speaking to us, like I said, via video up here on the projector. First is Cataluna Enrique, and she is a transgender activist and fashion designer. Right now, she's currently the Miss reigning Miss Nevada USA, the first transgender individual to hold any Miss USA title, and that's pretty awesome. She cannot be here tonight because she is prepping for the event that's in 2 weeks, I think. So, sending out our love to her. We also are introducing Sharon Brown. Sharon Brown is the Chief Human Resources Officer at the Los Angeles LGBT Center. And she actually most recently was appointed the head of LA Pride, the first transgender individual to ever hold that position. So that's, two groundbreaking women. They will be speaking about the history of Transgender Day of Remembrance, or as you might hear throughout the evening, TDOR, and the importance of this event. And I'm gonna virtually hand it off to them. Please note, we are activists first, media people second. So if there's any hiccups, I blame my partner. I'm just kidding, but
Today is Transgender Day of Remembrance, a day to honor trans and non-binary people whose lives were lost because of anti-trans violence. This day was started in 1999 by Gwendolyn Ann Smith, who was honoring Rita Hester, who was a transgender woman killed in 1998. Trans people have existed way before colonization, and the normalization of erasure, discrimination, hatred has caused harm and took many lives of people in our community. Transphobia and violence towards the transgender and non-binary community is increasing yearly. It is imperative that we continue speaking out, being visible, educating ourselves and others to create a world where every life is valued. We must remember our brothers and sisters whose lives were taken from people who chose hatred from what they fear and what they refuse to understand. We must continue creating safe spaces for vulnerable communities so that they too can also have a chance to breathe like everyone else. Today, November 20th, we honor every name, every person, every legacy of our brothers and sisters who have lost their lives because of anti-trans violence.
Hey everyone, I'm Sharon Franklin Brown. Although I'm unable to be there with you in person on this Transgender Day of Remembrance, I'm there in spirit. It is a time for us to reflect on and acknowledge the accomplishments that the trans community has contributed to the entire LGBTQ plus movement. It is a time to shine a light on those that are advocating for a better tomorrow while striving to live their authentic lives. It is a time for us to help others to find the courage to do the same. Unfortunately, it is also a time to remember our siblings that have lost their lives due to violence and transphobia. Though they gave the ultimate sacrifice for living and walking in their truth, it shall not be in vain. We will continue the struggle and the fight for equality and justice for all, just as others have done before us. For we stand on their shoulders and others will stand on ours. There is still much work to be done. Barriers to break, glass ceilings to shatter, new relationships to forge, and old relationships to renew. Until then, my friend, remember. There is
The
still much
local
work to be
crowd is
done.
watching at a different rate than the live
Glass
audience.
ceilings to shatter, new relationships to forge, and old relationships to renew. Until then, my friend, remember.
Hi everyone, my name is Paulina Angel. I'm the Executive Director of Trans Community Project. I was remembering when I first came out and just finally being happy to find my truth. And when I finally found out that I was trans and what it meant and that there was nothing wrong with me, I just felt like home for the first time in my life. And so you just couldn't help but just to feel happy and in peace. But then I had to start to look at things in a very serious way. And that came one day when I was at a youth drop-in center that we used to have here called Gay Associate Youth, which was located in Palm Desert. And I picked up this one of these newspapers that was out over there that was like a queer times kind of thing. And I found myself crying because I was reading a story about this amazing young girl who had such a bright future, and she was taken from us too soon. She was 17 years old, and her name was Gwen Arajo. And she was tragically killed in the city of Tracy by 3 men that found out that she was trans. And that just totally broke my heart. And to find someone just like me that their lives was taken from them. And from then on, I start to hear about more people in our community that their lives are being taken, and if not similar, but the same way that her life path was taken from us. And we just need to continue to move on, to continue to work towards a society so that we all can be accepted. And I remember it being during 2015 when we had like a celebration here for marriage equality, and I remember some guy said, "Oh, great, marriage equality, is here. We could all get married. Great, the work is done." And I told that person, "No, the work is not yet done. We still got a lot of our trans siblings that are being killed out there. We still have a lot of rights that still need to be passed. And so we need to continue the work out there, and not just, acceptance, like for in education and our families and society, but we also need to continue to make more strides out there, more glass ceiling break moments out there. We still need to, it does not just end with us having representation in media like a show like Pose, even though the show Pose really helped us out a lot in society, but we need more. We need like more transgender people, and like in the medical field, we need more transgender people out in education, as well as we need more people even in the political world. We need to continue to vote in more trans leaders into office, so that we continue to have same power in society to make change for our community. So we just need to continue to give our community, especially our youth, hope that their future will be bright, and will be working towards the future so that they will no longer have to go through the struggles that we've gone through. So that's why a day like TDOR is so important for us to remember that, we're recognizing those that are no longer with us, but we need to make sure that we continue to do the work in tribute to those that we've lost. So I'd like to thank you so much for having me here. And I've been having this thing on my hand all day, and it's a butterfly. And now this belonged to Gwendolyn, and I always make sure to do my work in honor of her, and making sure that her memory continues on. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here, and I'd like to hand this over to Jacob.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Paulina. Usually I speak, without paper, but I know if I don't hold this, it's going to make me trail off, and this is a very emotional day, so bear with me. But thank you so much, Paulina. Your words are actually inspiring, and it's because of individuals and activists like Paulina that we are here today. So thank you for all the work that you do and you continue to do. And I echo that statement for each and every trans and non-binary individual listening to me today and in this world. Being an activist, it simply means living your life and waking up as you, right? That's what activism is. And, speaking of activism, the activists in Coachella Valley have been working for years and years to make this place that we call home safer for my community. Each organization brings a very unique and specialized important service to the Valley. And something we've been realizing within the last few months is that our voices are actually amplified when we work together. This event was created as a first step to bring existing programs and services and groups that serve the community as one united effort. By uniting and honoring the lives that we could not save, it is my hope that we can now work together to build resilience in trans individuals who we've already met and have yet to encounter. What inspires me further is the fact that there are actually organizations like the ones that I mentioned tonight working together that don't have a trans and non-binary focused mission statement, right? They're just doing work, but they've made a promise to put in the work to create affirming spaces for clients who fit within our community. And this has been done by ways of listening to community and to trans leadership and input. So to be an ally, it actually means to let the community lead and tell you what we truly need to thrive. And so I thank all of the orgs that are here tonight and all of the allies that are here tonight for letting us do that. So speaking of leadership and change making, I would love to talk for a minute about Mayor Pro Tem Lisa Middleton. So many of you know her as a councilwoman and a current California State Senate candidate, but I have gotten to know her within these last few months as a true example of a leader and someone that I am very fortunate to call someone who I'm beginning to, have as a friend. She has created change for not only her community, but for everybody who does not have the ability to use their voices. And that's very, very impactful, right? To know how to use your voice correctly for those who cannot speak. Lisa has given so many transgender individuals who inspire to enter the world of politics a chance to live their dreams. I mean, just in a few years, right? Last elections, we've seen so many trans candidates get elected to positions that are called the highest level of, right? And that shouldn't be a thing, right? We should just all be able to do whatever we want, but we're breaking those ceilings so that we can create even more, right? So to me, that's what I know that the individuals we're honoring tonight would want to see in the future generation of our trans and non-binary, siblings. They want to be able to live their dreams, or they want others to live their dreams, because the people we've lost tonight cannot. They can no longer do that. So it is with my pleasure to welcome Mayor Pro Tem Lisa Middleton.
Well, good evening and welcome. Jacob, thank you for those gracious remarks. Paulina, it's always a pleasure to be in a room or in a space where you're at. This is a solemn day. It is a solemn evening. We are here tonight because once again, over 70 individuals who are transgender lost their life during the course of the last year. Far more than one a week. Most of those deaths were done in brutal fashion. Most of those individuals were young, with their lives fully ahead of them, and they were taken not because of anything they had done, because of who they were, because of who they are, because they're a member of the transgender community. And somehow or another, someone else saw that as a threat to them. We've been doing this now for 22 years. The numbers of people have grown. It's expanded across this country, across the planet. Because there are transgender people absolutely everywhere. And there has been since the beginning of time. I remember being there in 1999 at the very first Transgender Day of Remembrance, just outside the Castro in San Francisco. It was a pretty cold night that night. But we were there, a small number of people. You could fit us around about 2 or 3 tables. But we were committing ourselves to never forget those that we have lost. And in committing ourselves to those that we have lost, let us also commit ourselves to those who are growing up and coming in our community. Earlier this week, thanks to a family member, I was asked to write a letter to a young 11-year-old transgender girl. It was such a wonderful moment to sit down at a table and talk to an 11-year-old with her full life entirely ahead of her, with the support of her mother and father, with the support of her family. It is the kind of thing that's happening more and more all over. For those of us who are transgender, non-binary, intersex, we knew really, really early, usually well before 11 years old, who we were. What we did not know is where to get help, who we could safely talk to, how it would be that we would reveal the truth that we knew that was inside of us. Yet today, we are seeing something that for individuals in my generation seems like an incredible dream. That parents and support systems in the medical establishment and across the community are embracing the children of our community. And yes, there are politicians in many places who find those little children threatening. Well, doesn't that make them incredibly brave to stand up in the well of a legislature in the United States and attack a 10, 11, and 12-year-old, and to do disjustice to the parents who love that child? They're afraid of us, but we are going to win because we are going to stay united. Once you have understood the truth that is inside your heart and revealed it, you can never cover it up again. So we stand here tonight on the 22nd Transgender Day of Remembrance to remember those who we have lost and to commit ourselves that we will never forget them, and we will never forget the children in our midst, and we will give to them every opportunity to live their life fully, authentically, and I can't wait to see them grow up. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think that's a really great segue into the reading of the names. And so every year we honor those lives that have been lost by reading them. And we've compiled a video, and we got so many individuals from the community to read these names. And so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and go into that video.
Rita Hester was a transgender woman who was murdered in Allston, Massachusetts on November 28, 1998. In response to her murder, an outpouring of community grief and anger led to a candlelight vigil held the following Friday, in which about 250 people participated. The vigil inspired the Remembering Our Dead web project and the International Transgender Day of Remembrance. Your life mattered. Skylar Heath was shot in Liberty City, Miami on November 4th, 2020. Your life mattered. Fendi Monize Armstrong, otherwise known as Peaches, was shot in Lithonia, Georgia on November 12th, 2020. Your life mattered. Eunice Carey Herrera, otherwise known as Uni, was stabbed in Miami on November 17th, 2020. Your life mattered. Asia Janae Foster was shot in Houston, Texas on November 20th, 2020. Your life mattered. Kimberly Susan Field was stabbed in San Jose, California on November 22nd, 2020. Your life mattered.
Shamay Misha Sims, Shay Shay, was shot in Richmond, Virginia on November 23rd, 2020. Your life mattered.
Mylia Monet Mullen died by suicide in Baltimore, Maryland on December 20th, 2020. Your life mattered.
Courtney Ishay Key was shot in Chicago, Illinois on December 25th, 2020. Your life mattered. Alexandria Winchester was shot in the Bronx, New York on December 26, 2020. Your life mattered. Kimberly Patricia Cope, Kim, died in Athens, Georgia on December 27th, 2020. Your life mattered. Bonaire Black, Bonnie, died in Atlanta, Georgia on December 31st, 2020. Your life mattered.
Tiania Deveria Alexander was shot in Chicago, Illinois on January 6, 2021. Your life mattered. Samuel Edmund Damian Valentin was shot in Trujillo Alto, Puerto Rico on January 9th, 2021. Your life mattered. Natasha Kiana died in Detroit, Michigan on January 12th, 2021. Your life mattered. Bianca Bonds was murdered in Atlanta, Georgia on January 17th, 2021. Your life mattered. Dominique Jackson was shot in Jackson, Mississippi on January 25th, 2021. Your life mattered. Sandy Crisp died from COVID-19 in Los Angeles, California on January 27th, 2021. Your life mattered.
50 Bands was shot in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on January 28, 2021. Your life mattered. Jasmine Bright Jazzy was shot in Ambridge, Pennsylvania on February 1st, 2021. Your life mattered. Alexis Braxton Kimmy Leone was murdered in Miami, Florida on February 4th, 2021. Your life mattered. Alexander Blake Van Dalsen died in Lafayette, Indiana on February 9th, 2021. Your life mattered. China Carrillo was beaten and stabbed in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania on February 18th, 2021. Your life mattered. Jeffrey Bright JJ was shot in Ambridge, Pennsylvania on February 21st, 2021. Your life mattered.
Jenna Franks was murdered in Jacksonville, North Carolina on February 24th, 2021. Your life mattered. Kimberly Wards Tova died in custody in Baltimore, Maryland on February 26, 2021. Your life mattered. Diamond Kiri Sanders was shot in Cincinnati, Ohio on March 3, 2021. Your life mattered. Rihanna Pardo was run over by a vehicle in Los Angeles, California on March 17, 2021. Your life mattered. Adalyn Evans died in Port Arthur, Texas on March 18, 2021. Your life mattered.
Piper Autumn Rivers died by suicide in Las Vegas, Nevada on March 22nd, 2021. Your life mattered. Kim Ramirez died in New York on March 28, 2021. Your life mattered. Chris Brandon Reese was shot in Lompoc, California on March 28, 2021. Your life mattered. Jada Pearson was shot in Charlotte, North Carolina on April 4th, 2021. Your life mattered. Dominique Lucius was shot in Springfield, Missouri on April 8th, 2021. Your life mattered. Remy Fennell was shot in Charlotte, North Carolina on April 15th, 2021. Your life mattered.
Tierra Banks was shot in Chicago, Illinois on April 21st, 2021. Your life mattered. Natalia Smoot Lopez was shot in San Jose, California on April 23rd, 2021. Your life mattered. Iris Santos was shot in Houston, Texas on April 23rd, 2021. Your life mattered. Tiffany Thomas was shot in Dallas, Texas on April 24th, 2021. Your life mattered. Carrie Bobo Washington was murdered in Clearwater, Florida, May 1st, 2021. Your life mattered. T. Harden was shot in York, South Carolina on May 2nd, 2021. Your life mattered.
Jahira de Alto Balenciaga was stabbed in Boston, Massachusetts on May 2nd, 2021. Your life mattered.
Whispering Wind Bear Spirit was shot in York, Pennsylvania on May 3rd, 2021. Your life mattered.
Sophie Vasquez was shot in Brookhaven, Georgia, May 4th, 2021. Your life mattered. Danny Henson was shot in Baltimore, Maryland, May 4th, 2021. Your life mattered. Serenity Hollis was shot in Albany, Georgia, May 8th, 2021. Your life mattered. Danielle Boachi, Danny, also known as Mistress Velvet, died by suicide in Chicago, Illinois, May 8th, 2021. Your life mattered.
Nona Moselle Connor died in Washington, D.C. on May 13th, 2021. Your life mattered. Giselle Hartzog, also known as Giselle Hilton, died in Washington, D.C. on May 18th, 2021. Your life mattered. Oliver Taylor was shot in Gervais, Oregon on May 19th, 2021. Your life mattered. Haven A. Bailey died by suicide in Villa Park, Illinois on May 24th, 2021. Your life mattered. Poe Black, also known as Oliver Jackson, was stabbed in Slab City, California on May 26, 2021. Your life mattered. K.C. Wilson was murdered in Washington, D.C. on May 30th, 2021. Your life mattered.
Dee Dee Thomas died in New York on June 6, 2021. Your life mattered. Ruby Dominguez was run over by a vehicle in Arlington, Texas on July 16, 2021. Your life mattered. Taya Ashton was shot in Suitland, Maryland on July 17, 2021. Your life mattered. Shay Vanderpump was shot in Trenton, New Jersey on July 30th, 2021. Your life mattered. Coco Chanel Wortham was shot in Dallas, Texas on August 7th, 2021. Your life mattered. Pooh Johnson was shot in Shreveport, Louisiana on August 23rd, 2021. Your life mattered.
Claire Montserrat Jackson died from COVID-19 in Troy, Ohio on August 27, 2021. Your life mattered. Zoella Rose Martinez was murdered in Seattle, Washington on September 1st, 2021. Your life mattered. Josiah Monet Smith was shot in Dalton, Illinois on September 6, 2021. Your life mattered. Brianna Ulmer was shot in Arlington, Texas on September 30th, 2021. Your life mattered. Kier Lepre Cartier was shot in Arlington, Texas on September 30th, 2021. Your life mattered.
Royal Poetical Stars was shot in Miami Gardens, Florida on October 2nd, 2021. Your life mattered. El Cho died in Yucca Valley on October 9th, 2021. Your life mattered. Mel Robert Groves was shot in Jackson, Mississippi on October 11th, 2021. Your life mattered. Tavda Laban died by suicide in New York on October 14th, 2021. Your life mattered. Kiva Scatter was shot in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on October 15th, 2021. Your life mattered.
Jesse Hart was murdered in Banks, Oregon on October 17th, 2021. Your life mattered. Joe Agar was shot stopping a mass shooter at a mall in Boise, Idaho on October 25th, 2021. Your life mattered. Ricky Altomaro, True Starlet, was shot in Centralia, Washington on October 31st, 2021. Your life mattered.
On October 3rd, 2002, Gwen Araujo was just 17 years old when she was murdered in Newark, California. She was killed by 4 men who beat and strangled her after discovering that she was transgender. After killing her, they wrapped her body in a blanket and buried her in the Sierra Nevada foothills. Araujo's murder helped bring awareness to the incidents of violence against transgender people, and we honor her life at TDOR every year. Your life mattered.
Okay, thank you so much. You can put the candles down. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Tony Dorsey.
Hello, everyone. Can y'all hear me back there? Jenny DeLeon was 25 years old when she was killed in Tampa, Florida on November 2nd, 2021. Markeisha Lawrence was 28 years old when she was shot and killed in Greenville, South Carolina on November 4th, 2021. Angel Naira was 36 years old, loving and living in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, and was shot to death in her home on November 11th, 2021. And each of their lives mattered. My name is Tony Dorsey. I am Black, and I am white, and I am Native. I am the Director of Trans Services for Borrego Health, the largest FQHC in the United States. And my role tonight is to come and close the evening. I decided I will not. I want you to know that the organizers of this event are grateful to all of our sponsors, thankful for all of them. QueerWorks, the Trans Power Project, the Trans Community Project, Oscars, JFS, the Center, the Trans Latina Coalition, DAP Health, KGay, the Gay Desert Guide, Rainbow Pride Youth Alliance, PromoHomo.TV, the Coachella Valley Independent, Michael's House, Jewish Family Services of the Desert. Did we get them twice? No, we didn't. Okay, the Gender Affirmation Project, AmeriCorps, and of course, Borrego Health. The Trans Day of Remembrance is a rare chance for those who are not trans to be invited in, to be asked to join us, not merely to stand beside us, but to stand with us. We are that 1% of the population from all the nightmare stories, both the good, and if you listen to those who hate us, who make it their goal to hate us without ever saying the word hate, we are also the bad. We are the ones set aside, the ones who had to wait their turn, even though we have fought beside every effort for over 160 years. We are the ones who are too unstable, too fragile, too rough, too much. We are the ones who have found a place in every single endeavor that humanity has ever and will ever aspire towards. Wow, I don't know what I'm saying. We are told that common courtesies are not for us, that our will to power and our self-awareness are not valid, and that our thoughts and words and dreams and goals and ideals are not right, are not proper, and are not enough. Even when we are brutally murdered as children, even when we are killed for wanting to love and be loved, even when we are told of a promised land and told to wait at the gate, they will come for us, they will not forget us. We are the forgotten. For over 20 years, the Transgender Day of Remembrance has been a moment in time when we stop to reflect on the evils that we face. And often forgotten in the stories about it is that these are just the best known, the only known. For even in death, we are not recognized, not seen, and our voices are silenced and we are unheard. Today, we want you to stand and witness the bloody, cruel count of just a fraction of those who have been targeted for being trans people, slain, slaughtered, sacrificed at the altar of hate and insecurity and lies. None of the people you have heard about died easy. None of them went gently into that good night. And all of them experienced what is called overkill, such harm and violence that it could have killed them several times. Each and every one. And they're just the dead. There are thousands of trans men, women, and NBs who are raped and beaten and brutalized and abused every year, and we cannot even count them, cannot even identify them, because the systems we use to track that violence do not track us. In 1981, an effort of genocide was begun that was backed by the federal government, and it was only in 2013 that they began to unwind 50 years of calculated and intentional violence against trans people. Here, in the US, every single trans person you know has survived, has defied the odds, defied evictions, defied violence, defied hate, defied the very real erasure of us from our culture and our awareness. That they are alive at all is a testament to what trans people can accomplish, even against the greatest of forces. We are here, and we know you tried to make it not so. We are here, and we have been beaten, but we are not broken. We are here, and we are not going to sit idly by and be unheard and unseen and unknown and unremarked. We are here, and tonight you have heard our voices. Tonight we have spoken softly. Tonight we have whispered. We are here, and tonight we will remember, and we will mourn, and we will hold fast. Tonight you are here. Tonight you have heard. And then tomorrow, we will roar. And I expect you will roar with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that was the most beautiful way to end the evening. And I just wanted to once again thank everyone for being here and keep the fight, right? Roar, as Tony said, roar with us because we need your voices. Because while we are loud, we are louder with our allies. We are louder as one. So thank you all so much again for being here. If anybody would like a copy, or if anybody would like materials around all the names that we have lost, please feel free to reach out to me. Contact information is on the table. Thank you once again to Oscars. Thank you once again to all of the community partners and collaborators. And, please stay, please, lack of a better word, enjoy your evening. Talk, converse, ask us all questions. Everyone who spoke tonight is happy to talk about the community and talk about ways in which you can help the community become resilient. Thank you to PromoHomo.TV for live streaming everything. We really appreciate that. And we will see you next year.
Well, that was a very moving ceremony that's wrapping up, as you see, because you saw the whole thing live. And I just want to thank you all for joining me tonight. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm honored that I'm able to bring a program like this to you, but I wish I didn't have to. I want to revisit a quote that I shared at the top of the show from Gwendolyn Ann Smith, as quoted by glad.org, and she founded TDOR. Transgender Day of Remembrance seeks to highlight the losses we face due to anti-transgender bigotry and violence. I am no stranger to the need to fight for our rights, and the right to simply exist is first and foremost. With so many seeking to erase transgender people, sometimes in the most brutal ways possible, it is vitally important that those we lose are remembered and that we continue to fight for justice. So that's the lesson that I'll take away again today, and I hope that you got something out of this. And once again, here's an important phone number for you, and I'll see you next time.